And today we're talking about camera wars. So, this is more of a talking video. I wanted to talk about what I call the camera wars. But I think this applies to a lot of things in our lives, since there's so many options for everything. And pretty much everything depends on what you pick, what works for you, whether it be a car, whether it be a camera, like in my case, or it can be any type of electronic. It's hard not to ignore that as humans, we often rally up on one side or the other. We're not very flexible. We're not always flexible to see both sides and see what's good on one side, what's good from the other side. We always want to be on one side, not the other. And this duality it actually is a problem for humans. So when thinking about cameras, I noticed this because it comes down to camera brands, camera manufacturers, lenses. Obviously, there are good lenses and there's bad lenses, but when it comes to brands, we're very tribal. And we are so with other things like cars, like I mentioned, or anything else. But this also goes down to politics. We're never one. We can never be on both sides or see things from both sides. We're always on one or the other side. And if we're on one side, we want to completely eliminate the other. So this is what I call the camera wars when it's coming down to cameras. We're human, and most humans, we try to pin down others who don't have the same opinions as we do. And that's wrong, you know? Of course, not everyone's going to have the same opinion as you. They're not the same person. They haven't gone through the same experience. They don't know what it's like to be you or to get to where you are right now. They may judge you, and this doesn't always have to do with cameras, but in general, they may judge you on your status, your education, your money, but they don't really know who you are, you know? Unless they live with you. So my point for this video is, it's very broad. That's our human nature, unfortunately, but we need to be open-minded and be friendly to each other and not judge people whether they're being successful or not, whether you think it's materialistic or not, because you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what the experience is, what the goals are, the aspirations. So when it comes to camera wars, there's a lot of, oh, Canon's better, Nikon's better, Sony's better. This is now more into the camera stuff. We obviously have options. And for those of you who are still looking at options or looking for your next purchase, to have that tool to help you express yourself creatively, you can get tied up in the middle of this brand war or this mentality that we have as humans to gather on one side and completely eliminate the other side or ignore them as if they're less. So I have 3 tips. I have 3 things to keep in mind whenever you're in the middle of a camera war or any electronic or whatever decision where there are 2 sides or multiple sides and you feel like you have to be on one of them. So I got my notes because I had a lot to think about. Number 1 is open mind, like I mentioned already. We need to be flexible. We need to be open to try new things, see things from others' perspectives. When it comes to cameras specifically, we're looking at different technology, different price points, formats, features. That's pretty much it, keeping an open mind. And this applies to anything in life. Number 2, define your needs. When you're purchasing something, you're investing in it, what is the right tool for you? Everyone says that, but not everyone gets it because we get into the hype of what's new. And I know I'm a victim to that too, but define your needs. What do you need? What features will you actually use if it's a camera that you're buying? What features will you actually use and not just be proud to have? And this goes with anything. You may think you want something that has everything, but you're only going to use something minimal from that everything. That makes me think of like a house. Like you may want a gigantic house, but are you going to use the whole house? Probably you're going to use 1 or 2 rooms, you know? Be honest. All right, and number 3, Don't be a hater. It's easy to be tribal. It's easy to hate. It's easy to pick a side and make the other side the black sheep. Don't do that. This goes with being human towards others, but it also goes down to when you make a decision to invest in something, such as a camera. So don't look down on the choices of others, because everyone has different needs for different equipment. And sometimes the reason I keep going back to the general view is because this is something that's internal in us, that's very instinctual, that we struggle with about picking a side. And a lot of times it goes down to credibility or knowledge. It becomes a challenge. Who has more knowledge? Who has more credibility? Can't even speak. When you pick a brand, you're kind of saying, I'm on this team. You gotta believe me because I'm the expert, you know? So we just gotta stay humble. Don't act like you know everything, because you don't. There's 7 billion people on this earth. Someone knows more than you, you know? Go beyond features. Go beyond descriptions. Go beyond what people say in your initial impressions. All right, I just wanted to switch the angle, see who was gonna focus on me. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was just some thoughts, conversation I was having with myself, thinking about like when you're buying something or anything in general in life, people always feel like they need to pick one side, not the other sides. Everything else has to be eliminated. I've noticed that, especially in careers. When you think about a career, you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna study, put 10 years of school into this, and I'm gonna do that, and that's it, because that's what I studied for. And you know, sometimes that's true, that's what you wanna do, but the reality is, you don't gotta pick one thing. You aren't one thing. You can be many things. So keep that thought in mind, and whenever you're making an investment like on a camera, but also in your personal life, you aren't one thing. You have lots of layers. So don't feel like you have to do one thing. Don't feel like you have to be this thing, and that's the category. I'm nothing else. Thanks for watching.